This is Mrs. Brubaker. I hope you guys are doing really, really well today. I'm super excited because we are actually going to be graduating, kind of like a big grammar graduation from simple sentences, which we've been doing with subject, verb, indirect object, complement, to prepositional phrase, to compound sentences, which you guys, for some reason, have an adverse thing about the comma. The comma and you are not friends. So I'm hoping that we're going to be able to rectify that issue in the coming weeks because that is a major skill in the ACT. And when we look at the item analysis, which questions you guys missed in the English section, a lot of them were comma questions. So some building block things I just kind of want to talk to you guys about. And let me move my document camera over. Four building blocks. This is a major ACT skill. A lot of times there's 75 questions on the test. Grammar and usage, which is what this, usage and grammar, make up about 50 of those questions. So knowing those comma rules, knowing that information is going to be really, really, really important. And you got to know it. So this is kind of graduating, learning commas and semicolons are a major part of that. And so that's why we're kind of touching base, but we really wanted to make sure you understood simple sentences before compound sentences. So a compound sentence is going to be the joining of two independent clauses. And an independent clause is going to be a subject and a verb at least. You might see a complement, you might see a prepositional phrase. So that's going to be really important. So these are going to join together. And a lot of you guys have done, you guys like to join it together the wrong way, two independent clauses. We're going to show you what the right way is. So it's going to be an independent clause, which is a subject and a verb, with either a comma and coordinating conjunction, or using a semicolon with another independent clause on the other side. So I feel like this is like algebra. And for my math people, actually, it is kind of like an equation. So you have your independent clause, which is a subject and verb, plus a comma and a coordinating conjunction, or a semicolon plus an independent clause. And I'll even do this for my math people. Put parentheses around it so that way you know that's going to be a part that it's going to be either or. You have to do that in order to make that work. You can't just separate two independent clauses with a comma. And so that's why it's so important. And we spent so much time on making sure you guys understood what a subject and verb look like. So that way you can make that correction. If you have a subject and verb on both sides and it's joined with a comma, you're going to be able to identify then, oh, got to add something else there. So what creates a compound sentence? You're going to use that coordinating conjunction, which is going to be our fanboys. So we have for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. With that comma or a semicolon. No coordinating conjunction needed. Something that I love about you guys is now that you know how to use the semicolon, you're going to be like, dang, semicolon, I want to use this all the time. A semicolon should only be used if the two ideas or two independent clauses share a common idea. And I always use the example with my students. I say, okay, if you tell me, I am going to the store, semicolon, I want to buy milk, period. That to me makes perfect sense because of the fact it's all talking about going to the grocery store. But using one, I'm going to the store, semicolon, I hate you, those are not common ideas at all. They don't share an idea. And so a semicolon wouldn't be appropriate there. So just like I said before, the punctuation for that for a compound sentence is going to be that independent clause plus a comma and coordinating conjunction plus independent clause, or it's going to be an independent clause, semicolon, independent clause, only if the ideas, if the independent clauses or sentences connect in terms of ideas. And we're going to spend a couple weeks on this. So, because this is such an important ATT skill, there's another layer to this, but I don't want to go over that this week. We'll do that next week after fall break. I want to make sure we really understand just basic punctuation and basic identification of that compound sentence. So, when you diagram, number one, you are going to diagram the two independent clauses separately, just like normal. So you'll do one, you'll have a subject and verb, and then a subject and verb, or a subject verb direct object, or a subject, and so on and so forth. But then what you're going to do is you're going to go on a dotted line, either with a comma and a coordinating conjunction, or with a semicolon, because this visually shows me that the ideas connect together. And so that dotted line, for my math people, you guys all like logic. It's logical they join together, so I'm going to put that dotted line there. So let's try a couple and see how we do. You should always use our same process first. Identify the subjects and verbs in the prepositional phrase. So for number one, to class is my prepositional phrase. My subject is Sarah. My verb is walked. My coordinating conjunction is but. And then my subject is Kevin, and my verb is ran, just like normal. So let's diagram this. Sarah walked. Where did she walk? To class. Okay. Then I'm going to go to my next subject. Kevin ran. So they are separate diagrams, but we know there's a but there, so I'm going to put my dotted line, comma, but, to show that they connect. So let's try the next one. So let's do our first independent clause, and if you need to, put brackets around it. That to me is really helpful. So you're going to have your subject is dog, your verb is buried, bone is going to be my direct object, my complement, because that's what's being buried. My coordinating conjunction is and. Cat is my other subject. Sniffed. This one's kind of tricky because around is where he sniffs, so that's going to be an adverb. Goes under for the verb, and then it is my direct object. So let's do this one. We have dog, buried, bone. His is modifying bone because it's his bone. And then let's do cat. I forgot the. Sniffed. It. And then around is going to go under sniffed. So we know it's going to be, a coordinating conjunction is and, so it's going to be comma, and. Let's do one more together. Let's do this one. All right, so this is one of them. That's the other. So it's going to be subject and then verb. Hot is describing it, so that's going to be my predicate adjective. This is going to be an adverb. It's describing where it was hot. And then my coordinating conjunction, and then ice cream is going to be my subject. And don't split that because that goes together. And then verb. So we have it is my subject. Was is a linking verb. So we know we're going to slant my line back to the subject. Hot. Very. Outside is where. And then dotted line. Ice cream. Melted. Just like that. You guys know all the pieces. Now we're just learning about the commas, but I should never see a comma separated with subject and subject with a comma in between. That is wrong. You need that coordinating conjunction or that you need that semicolon. I want you guys to try these for practice. Submit this on Schoology to your appropriate assignment and rock it out. We'll talk about grammar tomorrow. You guys rock my world.